I've noticed that quite a lot of boxing fans online seem to suspect that Sergey Kovalev might be chinny. And these suspicions seem to stem from the fact that he was stopped or knocked out at least twice in the amateurs, and one of those defeats was at the hands of Artur Beterbiev, who's currently a light heavyweight contender as a professional. He was also dropped and hurt badly in the first Daniel Boone fight, apparently. And according to Abel Sanchez, who's the trainer of Gennady Golovkin, Golovkin dropped or knocked out Sergey Kovalev in sparring. And Abel Sanchez also used to train Sergey Kovalev early in Kovalev's career. I think that's when the sparring occurred. And whenever Abel Sanchez talks about Kovalev, he never seems that impressed. So I don't know if there's some type of personal beef there or whether Abel Sanchez is just being real. But that's the impression that he always seems to give. And the only knockdown of Sergey Kovalev which exists in terms of, on YouTube anyway, is the Blake Caparello knockdown. But that wasn't a legit knockdown because Caparello stepped on his foot. So I hadn't been able to locate any footage of Kovalev getting dropped legitimately until now. That's right. I've managed to source some video of Kovalev getting dropped. And I have to give a shout out to one of the members of my boxing group on Facebook, At My Boxing, Sam. He's the one that located this footage. It's a video of Sergey Kovalev as an amateur getting dropped heavily by a guy called Abbas Atoev. And it's only a short clip, but it shows Kovalev. It's definitely Kovalev, and he goes down hard. Now, it's a southpaw as well, the guy that drops him. So some people are going to link that to Stevenson. So make of it what you will. Have a look at the footage for yourselves and see what you think. What I will say personally is that I don't think Kovalev's chinny. I think he's susceptible to getting knocked out as anyone is. And it's all about how much punch resistance you have. I don't think his punch resistance is terrible. I think he took some decent shots against Pascal. But Pascal's not a massive puncher. Some people say that he was shaken up a little bit, or he was shaken up by Hopkins. If he had a terrible chin, if he was chinny, in my definition of chinny, we would have seen him on the canvas against Pascal. But he didn't go on the canvas. So I don't think he's chinny. But if he's in there with a big puncher, a guy like Stevenson who could connect with a left hand on his chin, then I expect that he will be hurt. I mean, most fighters, when they get hit by Stevenson with that type of power, they're going to be in serious trouble or they're going to go down. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. But in terms of Kovalev being chinny, I haven't seen anything to make me believe that he's chinny. I also have to say that there are fighters who get knocked out in the amateurs who go on to have great chins as professionals. One perfect example would be David Tua. David Tua got knocked out with one punch when he was 18 years old in the amateurs by Felix Savon. And he went on to have a great chin as a professional. But it has to be said that when Tua got knocked out by Savon, he was only 18 years old and he hadn't yet developed his man strength. He was like only 200 pounds, I think less than 200 pounds. So when he turned pro, he obviously packed on like 20, 30, 40 pounds, grew into his body more, became a man, and his punch resistance was much better. So could that be the case with Kovalev? I don't know. The footage of him getting dropped by Atoev, Kovalev doesn't appear to be that much different physically than he is now. Maybe he's a bit bigger now, but it doesn't look that much different. Certainly not the difference you see between Tua getting knocked out by Savon and then Tua as a professional. That's a big difference in terms of his, size and physique, physical maturity. So make of it what you will, people. Have a look at the footage and see what you think. Do you think that Stevenson could do the same thing to Kovalev and drop him with that left hand? Because again, as I said in the footage, it's a southpaw that he's fighting. And he waits for Kovalev to throw, I think, a right hand. And then he cracks him with a right hook, followed by the straight left. So have a look at it for yourselves and see what you think. Hopefully we'll get to find out one way or the other anyway this year, because Kovalev's got to fight Mohammedi for his mandatory, and Adonis Stevenson's going to fight Saki Obika, and hopefully they can meet up after that. So yeah, and as far as who I think will win between Kovalev and Stevenson, I've been going back and forth the whole time about this fight. I can't seem to make up my mind. But right now, I'm definitely leaning more towards Kovalev. I'm definitely leaning towards him. I think that his attack is more versatile than Stevenson. Stevenson really is one-handed, as we all know. And it's a terrific shot that he's got. Don't get it twisted. That left hand is the truth. But Kovalev has got many different ways that he can attack you. And he's got a very good jab as well. Much better jab than Stevenson. So I think if we're talking about probabilities here, I think it's more probable that Kovalev will get to Stevenson rather than the other way around. You know, Stevenson's a guy who likes to wait on you. He likes you to throw that your right hand so he can counter with that left or beat you to the punch. And yeah, that may be effective against Kovalev, but Kovalev's quite accurate. So there's always the chance that when Kovalev leads with that right hand's going to land. And that might be the only opportunity that you're going to get. You know, Stevenson is relying on that right hand falling short so then he can counter with the left hand. You know, it's a risky strategy, man. Risky strategy. Particularly against a guy like Kovalev who's got power in both hands and a very good jab. So we'll see what happens, man. Drop your comments below. Have a look at the video, as I said, and let me know how you feel about everything I talked about. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.